Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with, insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets.
Yeah, it's always exciting to dive into the latest trends and see what's, really shaking things up out there.
Absolutely. And this week is no exception. We've got a ton of really cool tech news to cover.
Like what? Give us a little preview.
Well, for starters, we're going to be talking about some unexpected winners on the app charts.
Ooh, that's always interesting to see who's coming out on top.
Yeah, and then we'll be diving into the world of AI, which is, well, it's basically taking over everything at this point.
I mean, it's hard to deny the impact it's having on pretty much every industry.
Right. Like, get this. AI can now create 4K resolution videos.
Whoa, 4K. That's like movie quality stuff.
Exactly. It's mind-blowing and a little bit scary, to be honest.
I know, right? Like, what does that mean for the future of filmmaking and content creation?
Well, that's something we'll definitely be discussing.
Looking forward to it.
And if that wasn't enough, we'll also be talking about how your phone might be able to connect via satellite soon.
Wait, what? Seriously?
Yep. Apparently, T-Mobile's already testing it out.
That is wild. So no more dead zones.
That's the idea. But we'll have to see how it all plays out.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. Let's get this tech party started.
All right, let's jump in. And I was reading TLDR earlier, and I was honestly shocked to find out the most downloaded free app in the U.S. App Store this year.
Okay, drumroll, please.
It's Temu.
Timo. Really? I'm not even sure I know what that is.
Yeah, it's like this online marketplace where you can find all sorts of affordable goods. It's kind of like a digital version of a bargain store.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen some ads for it. But still, beating out giants like TikTok and ChatGPT, that's impressive.
It is pretty crazy, right? And TLDR even mentioned that those big names are still in the top 4.
So what do you think this Timo thing says about, current consumer trends?
Well, it definitely makes you wonder if people are becoming more price conscious, especially with, the way the economy is these days.
Right. Like everyone's looking for a good deal.
Exactly. And Temu Quom seems to be capitalizing on that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if this trend continues.
For sure. Okay, moving on to something a bit more futuristic. AI. Have you heard about Google's new AI, VO2?
Oh yeah, the Neuron and TLDR AI were both buzzing about that.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it can create 4K resolution videos that are up to 2 minutes long.
I mean, that's incredible. I'm trying to imagine the computing power needed to pull that off.
Right? It's mind-blowing. And what's even crazier is that it goes beyond just like stitching together existing footage.
Oh, really? So it's creating something entirely new.
Yeah, from what I understand, it can actually generate brand new visuals and audio based on whatever prompts you give it.
So you're telling me I could give it a script idea and it would spit out a whole video?
That's the general idea, yeah.
Okay.
It's still early days, but the potential is huge. I mean, imagine creating entire worlds and stories with just a few lines of text.
It's both exciting and terrifying at the same time, right?
Totally. Especially if you're a filmmaker or content creator.
I mean, is Hollywood obsolete now?
Maybe not obsolete, but it definitely shakes things up a bit.
It's going to be fascinating to see how this technology evolves and what kind of impact it has on the creative industries.
For sure. Okay, ready for another mind-blowing piece of news?
Always. Hit me with it.
Okay, so get this. TLDR reported that T-Mobile is testing phone service that uses Starlink.
Wait, Starlink? As in Elon Musk's satellite network?
Yep, the one and only. Imagine being able to text from literally anywhere on Earth, even places without cell towers.
I mean, that would be a game changer for people in remote areas or, emergency situations.
Exactly. And think about all the travelers and adventurers out there. No more worrying about losing signal in the middle of nowhere.
We can already see the marketing campaigns, explore the world, stay connected.
Right. But there's still some kinks to work out. It's still in beta testing, and it's mainly focused on text messaging for now.
So no video calls from the top of Mount Everest just yet.
Not quite. And there's limited capacity too, so they need to figure out how to handle a larger volume of users.
Well, it's still a pretty incredible step forward. It really shows the potential of satellite-based communication.
Oh, and speaking of satellite tech, did you know that the EU is actually building their own competitor to Starlink?
Really? What's it called?
It's called IRIS-2, and their goal is to ensure secure connectivity and internet access, especially in those hard-to-reach areas.
So more competition in the space race, which is always a good thing for consumer.
Exactly. Okay, ready to switch gears again. Let's talk about ChatGPT.
Oh, yes. What's the latest with our favorite AI chatbot?
Well, according to the Neuron, ChatGPT search is now free for all users, and it's gotten some major upgrades, including voice search and faster browser integration.
Interesting. It sounds like they're really trying to make it more user-friendly and accessible.
Yeah, it almost feels like ChatGPT is trying to become our browser now. Like it wants to be our one-stop shop for everything we do online.
It kind of makes sense, right? Like, instead of having separate apps and websites for everything, we could just have this one AI-powered platform that handles it all.
I mean, that's pretty much the vision that the Neuron is laying out. They're talking about how ChatGPT search is fundamentally different from traditional browsing.
How so?
Well, instead of typing in keywords and sifting through pages of results, you can just ask ChatGPT complex questions using natural language. It understands the context of your search and can even provide personalized insights.
So it's less about finding information and more about understanding it. That's a pretty big shift.
Right. It's almost like having a conversation with a really knowledgeable friend,
Well, that certainly makes browsing the web a lot more engaging.
doesn't it? But it does make you wonder, what does this mean for the future of traditional browsers? Are they on their way out?
It's definitely a question worth pondering. I mean, remember how quickly smartphones disrupted things like digital cameras and GPS devices? ChatGPT could potentially have that same level of impact on how we access information online. It's all about streamlining our digital lives.
So instead of constantly switching between tabs and websites, we'd have this one central hub for all our online needs: searching, browsing, communicating, creating. It's pretty wild to think about.
It's a whole new paradigm.
Yeah.
But I do wonder about the implications. I mean, wouldn't that give OpenAI a lot of power and control over their digital lives?
That's a really good point. As we become more reliant on these AI-driven platforms, issues like data privacy and algorithmic bias become even more important to address.
Absolutely. It's a conversation we need to be having as these technologies become more integrated into our lives.
Okay, before we dive too deep into the ethical dilemmas of AI, the Neuron also mentioned that ChatGPT is getting some other interesting features, like video and screen sharing capabilities.
Oh, wow. What's that all about?
Imagine this. You're working on a coding project, or maybe you're trying to troubleshoot a tech issue. Instead of searching through tons of online tutorials, you just share your screen with ChatGPT and get real-time guidance. It's like having a virtual tech expert by your side.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. It sounds like ChatGPT is becoming the ultimate all-in-one digital tool.
It really does.
Mm.
But I have to wonder, for people who aren't that tech savvy, wouldn't all this be a bit overwhelming?
I see your point. There's a risk of leaving people behind if we're not careful.
Right, so it's important for developers to focus on making these interfaces intuitive and accessible to everyone.
It should be about making AI a helpful assistant, not a barrier to entry.
Totally. So it's less about AI replacing humans and more about augmenting our abilities, like having an AI sidekick to help us navigate the ever-expanding digital world.
Exactly. It's a collaborative partnership where AI handles the heavy lifting, freeing us up to focus on more creative and strategic tasks.
I like that. Okay, before we wrap up our AI deep dive, the Neuron mentioned a couple of other things that Google is doing in the AI space.
Oh yeah, Google's not letting OpenAI have all the fun. What else are they up to?
Well, we talked about their video generator VO2
Mm-hmm.
earlier. It can make longer, higher resolution videos than OpenAI's Sora.
Right. They're really going head to head in this AI video arms race.
And then there's their new tool called Whisk.
Whisk. What does that one do?
Get this. You can generate images just by dragging and dropping photos.
Wait, so instead of typing in text prompts, I just use existing pictures as inspiration.
Yep, you choose a photo for the subject, another for the scene, and even a third for the overall style.
Hold on, so I could take a picture of, say, my cat, combine it with a photo of the Eiffel Tower, and then make it look like a Picasso painting.
Exactly. It's a much more visual and intuitive approach to image creation.
It's like AI for the artistically challenged.
I know, right? I'm starting to feel a little bit left behind with all these AI tools that can do everything.
Don't worry, I'm sure there's an AI out there that can teach us how to use them.
That's actually kind of scary to think about.
I know, right? But hey, that's the world we live in now.
Okay, before we go completely down the AI rabbit hole, let's touch on some news from the world of social media.
All right, what's happening in the social sphere?
Remember how TikTok was facing that potential ban in the US?
Oh yeah, that was a whole thing.
Well, TLDR reported that TikTok is taking their case to the Supreme Court in an effort to overturn the ban.
Wow, that's a bold move. What are their arguments?
They're saying that the ban violates their First Amendment rights and the rights of their 170 million American users.
It's a pretty high-stakes legal battle. It could have huge implications for the future of social media in the U.S.
And it really highlights the growing tension between technology, politics, and law.
It's like we're entering uncharted territory.
Okay, speaking of challenges, did you see that article in TLDR about Tesla's self-driving computer having some issues?
Yeah, it sounds like there are some malfunctions happening with their new HW4 onboard computer.
The HW4 is like the brain of their self-driving system. It processes all the data from the cameras and sensors to make decisions about steering, braking, accelerating.
So, a pretty critical piece of technology.
Right, and reports suggest that a battery short circuit during the camera calibration process could be the culprit.
That's a little unsettling for people who are already wary of self-driving cars,
It definitely raises some concerns about the reliability and safety of these systems.
especially when we're talking about something as potentially dangerous as autonomous vehicles.
Absolutely. Okay, let's end on a lighter note. Any news on those rumors about a new Nintendo Switch console?
Funny you should mention that. TLDR reported that a carrying case maker, Dbrand, may have accidentally leaked the design of the Nintendo Switch 2.
Wait, what? How did that happen?
They released a 3D render of what appears to be the new console, along with a new version of their kill switch carrying case.
Ooh, sneaky. What does it look like?
From the renders, it looks pretty similar to the current Switch, but with a slightly larger screen and some redesigned Joy-Cons.
So, no major overhaul, but still enough to get gamers excited.
For sure. I guess we'll have to wait for an official announcement from Nintendo to get all the details.
Always got to keep us in suspense.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up this part of our tech journey,
Yeah.
I've got a few more interesting tidbits to share from TLDR.
I'm all ears. What else have you found? You know, it's funny, we were just talking about AI potentially becoming our main interface for everything online.
Oh yeah, like having one central hub for browsing, searching, and all that.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it all.
Well, the Neuron goes deeper into some of ChatGPT's new features that are really pushing this idea forward.
You mean those upgrades to voice search and faster browser integration? It's starting to feel like we'll just be talking to our computers like they're, well, actual people.
Exactly. And it's more than just asking simple questions. Think about making ChatGPT your default search engine.
Okay.
It could pull up relevant links, summarize complex articles, even generate code, all from voice commands.
Wow, now that's pretty impressive. I can see how this would be a game changer. But wouldn't that make those traditional browsers like the ones we use now totally obsolete?
It's a real possibility. Like, remember how smartphones totally changed things for digital cameras and GPS devices?
Yeah.
ChatGPT, with its AI, could do the same for browsing. It's all about bringing things together and streamlining digital life.
So we'd have this one super smart assistant doing it all. Instead of switching between tabs and websites all the time, it's like having a personal digital concierge.
That's a great way to put it. And it seems like that's OpenAI's goal. The Neuron talks about their projects feature. Imagine a workspace where you organize all your searches, files, conversations, even code, all tailored to you.
That sounds amazing for someone like me who's always struggling to stay organized.
Yeah,
But wouldn't that give OpenAI access to like a ton of personal data?
you're right. That's a huge point. As we rely more on AI platforms, data privacy and potential misuse become even bigger concerns.
For sure. Okay, trying to stay positive here.
Hmm.
The Neuron also mentioned ChatGPT getting video and screen sharing. What's the thinking behind that?
So picture this. You're building a website or stuck on a tech problem. Instead of endless online tutorials, you share your screen with ChatGPT and get real-time help,
Okay,
like a virtual tech support expert right there.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is becoming this ultimate digital toolbox.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be overwhelming for people who aren't super tech savvy?
That's a valid concern. Developers need to design these interfaces with accessibility in mind,
Yeah.
so everyone feels empowered by AI, not intimidated by it.
So it's about striking a balance between innovation and making sure no one's left behind in this fast-changing digital world.
Exactly. AI working with us, not replacing us, enhancing our abilities, not creating barriers.
Okay. Feeling a bit better about the whole AI takeover thing now.
Yeah.
Before we move on, though, the Neuron mentioned some other interesting things Google's doing with AI.
Yes. Google's not letting OpenAI have all the fun. Remember VO2, their video generator? It makes 4K videos up to 2 minutes long, longer and higher quality than OpenAI's Sora video generator.
Wow, so they're really competing in this AI video space. I think it's just a matter of time before we're watching AI-generated movies and TV shows.
It's possible.
And
But even with all these AI advances, they're still just tools. Human creativity and storytelling are still key.
right, it's not about replacing artists, but giving them new tools to explore their vision.
Exactly. And speaking of new tools, Google also has Whisk, their image generating AI.
Oh yeah, the one where you drag and drop photos to create new images?
That's it. It's a more visual way to do image generation, which could make AI art accessible to more people. You choose a photo for the subject, another for the background, and another for the style you want.
Hold on, so I could take a photo of my dog, combine it with the Great Wall of China, and make it look like a Monet painting.
You got it. The possibilities are endless. That's what's so exciting about these AI tools. We can experiment and create in ways we never imagined.
This is seriously blowing my mind. Every week there's something new pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
It's an amazing time to be following tech, and it's not slowing down.
Okay, let's switch gears for a bit and talk social media. Remember TikTok facing that potential U.S. ban?
Yeah, that was a huge story.
Well, TLDR says they've taken their case to the Supreme Court to try and overturn it.
Wow, that's a big move. What's the latest?
TikTok says the ban violates their First Amendment rights and the rights of their 170 million American users. They're asking the Supreme Court to block the law while they decide whether to hear their appeal.
This is a massive legal battle. Could really impact the future of social media in the U.S. What do you think the outcome will be?
It's tough to say. This case touches on national security, freedom of speech, and the power of big tech. It'll be interesting to see how the Supreme Court balances all that.
It feels like we're in uncharted territory as tech politics and law get more intertwined.
Absolutely. Okay, speaking of challenges, did you catch that TLDR article about Tesla having issues with their self-driving computer?
Yeah, seems like their new HW4 onboard computer is having some malfunctions.
So for people who don't know, the HW4 is basically the brains of Tesla's self-driving.
Yeah.
It processes data from cameras and sensors to make driving decisions.
Right, a pretty vital piece of tech.
And reports are saying a battery might be short-circuiting the computer during camera calibration. That's causing the issues.
That's kind of scary, especially for people already hesitant about self-driving cars.
It definitely raises concerns about the reliability and safety of these systems, especially with something as potentially dangerous as autonomous vehicles.
Absolutely. Okay, let's end on a lighter note. Any news on those rumors of a new Nintendo Switch console?
As a matter of fact, yes. Looks like a carrying case maker. D-Brand might have accidentally leaked the design for the Nintendo Switch 2.
Really? How'd that happen?
They released a 3D render of what seems to be the new console, along with a new version of their kill switch carrying case.
Okay, sneaky move. So what's it look like?
From the renders, it's similar to the current Switch, but with a bigger screen and some redesigned Joy-Cons.
So not a total redesign, but enough to get gamers excited. I guess we'll wait for Nintendo's official announcement for all the details.
Got to keep us in suspense.
Right.
Okay, before we wrap up this part, I've got a few more interesting tidbits from TLDR.
I'm all ears. What else you got?
So, you know what's really interesting about all this news we've talked about today? It feels like there's this common thread of making tech more accessible to more people.
You're right. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Like, think about Temu. It shows people want affordable options, and then satellite phones connecting even the most remote places. Plus, AI tools are becoming so user-friendly.
Yeah.
More people can be creators and innovators.
It's like tech is breaking down barriers and opening things up in a way we've never seen before.
Exactly. Makes you wonder if this is a shift in power away from those big tech companies.
Maybe. With open source stuff, decentralized networks, independent creators, it's a much more diverse tech landscape now.
It is. Feels like there's more room for new ideas and collaboration to really drive innovation.
Absolutely. But like with any powerful tool, we got to be careful of the downsides too.
Right. AI bias, data privacy jobs being replaced. Those are all serious issues.
We need to make sure these advancements help everyone, not just a few. It takes collaboration between companies, policymakers, and all of us.
Okay, enough serious stuff for a minute. TLDR had some fun facts I got to share.
Okay, let's hear them.
Waymo, the self-driving car company, is expanding their testing to Tokyo. Their first time outside the U.S.
Interesting. Tokyo is going to be a real test. It's so dense and busy.
It is. And this next one is sure to start some arguments. WordPress is forcing users to agree that pineapple is good on pizza.
Wait, seriously? Is that even allowed?
Apparently, it's their way of responding to this legal battle they're having with their founder, Matt Mullenweg.
Well, that's one way to mum a statement.
And last one for all the space fans out there. TLDR said a massive AI trial led to discovering 44% more new materials.
That's huge. Really shows how AI is changing scientific discovery, speeding up research and pushing the boundaries of what we know.
It's amazing to think about all the possibilities that AI and other new tech are opening up.
It's exciting and a little scary at the same time, right?
Totally. But that's what keeps things interesting.
Well said. Okay, it's time to wrap up our bite-sized tech adventure for today.
Yeah, we covered a lot, from app trends to the future of AI and everything in between.
It's been a fascinating journey. We hope you enjoyed exploring the world of tech with us.
Remember, the future of tech is in our hands. Let's use it wisely and build a future we can all be proud of.
I couldn't agree more.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.